Tales from the Port. Today we have a great show for you, the remake of that childhood favorite, Charlie the Choo-Choo. Bob was an engineer for the Mid-World Railroad Company. Bob was the best train man that was working for the company at the time. Charlie was the best big boy steam locomotive in the company. Engineer Bob had a special secret. He was the only one that knew Charlie was really alive. Bob heard soft singing coming from the cab. He asked out loud, "Who's in this cab with me?" "Don't worry, it's only I," Charlie said in a gruff voice. "I didn't know you were alive," said Bob, thinking this was a joke. "How come you never talked to me before?" Charlie started to sing. "Don't ask me silly questions. I won't play silly games. I'm just a simple choo-choo train, and I'll always be the same. I only want to race along beneath a bright blue sky and be a happy choo-choo train until the day I die." After this, Charlie and Bob became the best of friends. They traveled for years and years. "Charlie, I love you. You are my best friend," Engineer Bob said. One day, when Charlie and Engineer Bob returned from a trip, they found a new diesel locomotive in Charlie's berth. "What is this?" Bob asked in a worried voice. Mr. Biggs, the train yard manager, came out and said, "This is the new diesel locomotive that you will be driving. But what about Charlie?" "Sorry, but this comes from the top. The owner and president commanded it." "Nonsense," said Bob. "I will never drive another train besides Charlie." No matter how much Bob the engineer protested, Charlie was still put up for retirement. Charlie had a long time to think about what happened, and he felt very sad. He felt betrayed by the company he worked so hard for. One day, something changed within Charlie, and instead of feeling sorry for himself, he grew very, very angry. On a cold day, the president of the company, Mr. Martin, came to the train yard with his daughter, wanting to travel to Topeka for a family visit. It just so happened that the new diesel was in the shop for repairs, and all the other trains in the shipyard were out on runs. "Whatever shall I do?" he exclaimed. Just then, Bob the engineer appeared and pointed out that Charlie was still in working condition. Mr. Martin said, "Are you sure that this train can make it? It's been broken down and retired for years." "Don't worry," Bob said. "Charlie is the best train in the fleet." Bob was with Charlie again, making a trip to Topeka, but something was different this time. Bob and Charlie had been planning this out for some time now. "I'm glad you took this trip with me and Charlie, Mr. Martin. I can now show you the new engine I've been developing. It doesn't work on coal or diesel. It's a breakthrough. It works on slow-burning human flesh." Engineer Bob threw Mr. Martin and his daughter into the furnace, and Charlie let out a big... There's a story of Bob the engineer and Charlie the choo-choo train, picking up passengers and singing as they went. These passengers would never be seen again. And that concludes our show for this evening. Make sure to have your ticket the next time you board the train.